If you search 2 male bettas, the top search is usually about fighting. And also, the top search is that you cannot have more than 2 male fish in the same tank. And then you have a video that I made 2 years ago. Right now on my aquarium YouTube channel, it's my 4th most viewed video, and it's about 2 male bettas living in the same tank that are not fighting at all. So there must be more to this subject than meets the eye. Siamese fighting fish are one of the most popular aquarium fish in the hobby, and they can go into smaller tanks. They can go just about anywhere, and this smaller tank syndrome, I think, is half of the problem. These are incredibly colourful, small little fish that can live in small little aquariums, and the trouble all starts from there. People make the assumption they have to live in a small little tank, but these are a predatory fish. They are hunters, and they live by eating small prey. Bite first, ask questions later. Hunters that need to protect and defend their little hunting territory. So one of the main reasons that betta fish are so territorial and so difficult to get along with is they need to make sure their little spot of hunting territory is free for themselves to get enough food to sustain themselves and hopefully attract a female and start a family. Having a safe hunting territory that has regular supply of live prey is something that cannot be just found anywhere, and these little fish know it, and they know they need to protect it and guard it with their lives, which they absolutely will try to do. Defending a territory normally entails chasing the other male fish away. So the purpose of the flaring, making the fins as large as possible to look as big as possible, is to scare smaller males away so that a most dominant fish can always keep the very best territory that's available. And scaring the other male away is the whole point of what they try and do. They really don't want to end up in a mortal combat where 2 fish are ripping themselves to pieces. Even being injured can still be a death sentence. 2 male fish need to be trapped in a small container. That's the only reason that one of the 2 cannot run away. Although most small aquariums are bigger than a bowl, most small aquariums are still smaller than the territory a fish wants to protect. So most nano tanks are going to be only big enough for 1 male betta. What is a medium-sized tank to us is a small tank for a big fish. It's a medium tank for a medium-sized fish, and a medium tank is a big tank for a small fish. The available size and space in an aquarium is what determines how many betta fish can live in it. It's nothing to do with the betta fish themselves, it's all about how much territory and space they can share. So if you need to have more than 1 betta in an aquarium, you need to have a bigger tank. And if the tank is bigger, then you can have a number of bettas, males and females. Now that's where things get interesting and where fish start to breed. And here there's a pair of fish that were spawning in my medium-sized community planted aquarium. The male builds this amazing bubble nest. The 2 have an incredible courtship where the eggs are released under that bubble nest. Eggs are then caught and brought back up to the bubbles and spat up into the nest. And after all the eggs are laid, the male then defends, protects the nest and guards it until the fry hatch and become free swimming. The female wanders off, leaving the male to do all the work, which is fair enough. From the time of building the nest to courting the female to laying the eggs, protecting the eggs, guarding the hatched fry, keeping them together long enough until they're free swimming, the male does not eat. So this is an incredible test of endurance for the male betta fish. When the fry are big enough and strong enough to swim away, they never see their parents again. They're completely on their own. The vast majority of fry never surviving in the wild, where there are so many hungry mouths out for an easy meal. This community aquarium has got lots and lots of fish living in there, and there's no way that most fry would be able to survive very long. But as everyone who's watched Jurassic Park would know, nature will find a way. And there were two little eggs that hatched with two little fry, and they escaped into this jungle of plants in this planted aquarium, feeding on infusoria at first, and then joining in with the regular fish foods with the rest of the fish as they got larger, and they got larger. And they became juvenile little betta fish, swimming about quite happily in the community tank. But in the early stages, not knowing if they were male or female, I decided to wait and watch and see. And one matured first, becoming an obvious male, and the second one seemed smaller, and I thought a female. But as time went by, even the second one grew larger fins and was obviously another male. So I had 3 male Siamese fighting fish living in this community aquarium, and that is where this video came from. It came from having at first 2 male bettas living in this tank without fighting. So I thought I'd record that, and I thought I'd share it because most people just don't think that's what happens. And yet it turns out that with family groups in particular, if it's a large enough aquarium, they have enough space, they certainly will spread out and not bother each other. One will be dominant, and the less dominant fish will give way and leave space for the dominant fish. But it's not a matter of fighting, chasing, trying to damage each other. They simply share the available space as long as there is enough space. So this video, which is being searched all the time as to whether Siamese fighting fish males always fight each other, this is right now my most successful fish video on YouTube, because people want to know what is the story with male Siamese fighting fish. And the good news is, the bigger and bigger and bigger the tank is, the more and more and more fish can live in the environment. And this really seemed to surprise most people who click on this video. People clicking on this video really expect the fish to fight each other and to cause physical damage. And it seems that a lot of people are a bit disappointed when they find out the 2 fish do not actually fight. So I'm pleased to be able to show this video that does tell a story about a family group of male bettas sharing a reasonable sized tank with enough space that they can all share. There are now many videos on YouTube that you can click and search which show that breeding farms in Asia often have bettas in ponds, and ponds and large tanks, large vats, where there are hundreds and if not thousands of betta fish all together in communal groups. So I think the notion of betta fish living on their own by themselves always comes back to seeing them for sale in these tiny little glass boxes or glass jars. And we know that that certainly is how they're often stored for sale, but is that how they should live? And there's no doubt they don't live that way. You'd never be able to have a population of fish that sustains itself if they never got to ever be together. The fish have to be together in order to get more fish. But it's just incredible. There's such a lot of misunderstanding about these fish that have to be kept on their own because people think that's what they have to do because of what they see in a shop. But again, given space, and these little fish are territorial, they need to have a space. And once they have about a 2-foot space per male to guard, defend and protect, they're pretty happy. And in a tank that's a 3-foot, a 4-foot, a 5-foot, a 6-foot tank, you're going to have a little colony of multiple males all guarding their little spot. The dominant fish picking the best spot, and then the next fish getting the spot after that, but each fish defending a little area. And there could be dozens of females all swimming about across the entire large tank, and they would just stop in the area of their favourite boyfriend and stay for a while, make a nest, lay some eggs, and the females go off on their way again to do their own thing, leaving the males to do all the work and look after the young. So yes, these are little fish, but little fish that like to live really in bigger tanks. And if they do live in bigger tanks, you can have more than one. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed the content, and I'd love to hear your comments down below about your experiences keeping Siamese fighting fish. So thanks for that, and we'll see you on the next video coming up.